praying about this vessel that I was given. Because when I was at my worst, at my level of pain, I exploded. And my anger ended up leaving a bruise on my sweet little 2-year-old. And I was like, no, no. And I was not going to be like my father. My father, he was born in 1936, and his parenting style was one with belts and hard flicks of the hand. You never knew when you get a flick, and those flicks hurt. So it was a very corporal punishment. So anyway, I was not going to raise my kids that way. And when I left a bruise, that's when I started sending that. I would have these explosions, and then I would just and push them inside, which is not healthy either. Oh my gosh, that wasn't healthy either. So I was praying what to do. And honestly, during this time when it was so hard and so pain-filled, I did get suicidal. I started thinking of how I could end my life and my children, because I did not want them to go through life without. Anyway, it was horrible. It was really bad. And when I was in this deep despair, it's like, how can you be there? How can you be there? The depth of despair, the depth of despair and I was so trapped in a pain-filled body 24 hours a day. The level of pain was tremendous. I had no ability to speak. My throat chakra was not open. I couldn't tell anybody. I couldn't tell he could see the rashes on my hands, but I couldn't say I hurt. At that time, I couldn't grasp a knife and cut and prepare vegetables, so he was helping me with that. I was taking the medicine that the dermatologist told me to take, but it was destroying my skin at the same time and hurting my liver. And my liver was already hurt from the hepatitis. And so everything that the doctor was giving me taxed my liver even more. And being dumped on by these carcinogens, these heavy metals that basically make you not think right. The level of dysfunction in this area in Texas was extreme. There was more people going crazy in that area. There were more birth defects in that area. There were frogs that had multiple limbs. There were cows that couldn't stand because their nervous system was no longer working. My firstborn was born with 2 thumbs. And my daughter has a connective tissue disorder. It's luckily that plant is not doing that now, but back then they were, and I lived there for 5 years. And so what happens is the chemical toxicity gets so bad you don't think straight. And luckily for me, what happened was a church member called. And I answered the phone. They snapped me out of it. And that is where I was able to say, Scott, we have got to move. If I stay here, I will die. And I knew about the cement plant at that time. I had been trying to fight it. And so I immediately moved to Arizona. Luckily, he was able to get a job here. Arizona was closer to my family. And the prayers that I would give, I wouldn't feel like they were being answered, but I was so strong in my faith. I'm like, I believe I can heal. I believe I can heal. These blessings I'm receiving, they're going to come about. And so I would pull myself up and be able to pretend that things would be better until I couldn't. And so it was like this pretend thing, but this always praying, please help me, please help me. And so anyway, when I came to Arizona, there were little breadcrumbs that came, and I was able to heal. Big thing that helped me was finding a naturopath who did NAET with acupuncture needles. And he basically treated my body for everything that's ever touched my mouth, as well as regular things like elements, you know, calcium and like regular things that you shouldn't react to. And so I saw him for a year. He helped my body heal. It's so much work on the subconscious, on the subconsciousness, on the energy work of getting my ancestors' crap out of my field and out of the epigenetics above my genes. I've done so much growing up stuff. So since 2010, I have been pulling in different things. So that's about the time when I was like, I was going to go back to being a school teacher. My fourth baby was now in school. And when I prayed about it, it was a huge no, because I couldn't keep my health and be the kind of mom I wanted and the kind of teacher I wanted to be. And I'm like, well, God, what am I going to be when I grow up? Because that was my plan. And what came to my mind was to be a foot zoner. And at that time, I still couldn't touch things. I'm like, I can't touch things and I don't like feet. And now, I mean, last night I was doing a foot zone for somebody, and so ever since 2010, I have been learning different ways to help the body and mind function more optimally. And this year, I started a client club success membership. And I wanted it. Part of the problem that I had such challenges is I had a subconscious belief that I had no value and that I should not be spending money on myself. And so that was quite problematic because I wasn't speaking up that I was in trouble because I knew it cost money to fix the problem. And so what I've done with this program is it's a year of support for $333, and you end up with 24 1-hour practices of brain rewiring, subconscious reprogramming sessions. And so you're ending up with sessions that are like $12. And